Hyundai finally showed off the Performance N edition of the IONIQ 5 EV at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. The Kia EV6 GT is built on the same platform, and it came out about a year ago, so why did it take so long for Hyundai? Well, now we know those spy photos and release photos of prototypes testing on the racetrack were no publicity stunt. This thing really hauls ass. When this goes on sale later in 2023 in Korea, with sales in other markets extending into 24, this will be the most bonkers EV performance car you can buy for under $100,000. So rather than do another Hyundai IONIQ 5N breakdown, I decided to go a different path. What would it take for Tesla to punch back? In this video, I'm going to go through specs of what hypothetically could be Tesla's response to the IONIQ 5N. Now, this is by no means a done deal or even rumored. This is just my thoughts on the subject and how they can make a better performance EV. First of all, I'm going to base this on the Tesla Model Y. Why the Y? Because the IONIQ 5 is really a compact crossover EV. It looks like a hot hatch, and I love that about it. But it's tall. The Ford Mach-E is the same way. It hides its height really well to look more sporty, but they are all crossovers. Don't worry, all the upgrades to the Model Y that I'm going to talk about could easily apply to the Model 3, except that car would be lower, lighter, and even faster. To have fun with this, I'm going to create a new subsidiary of Tesla, a sub-brand. For comparison, BMW has M, formerly BMW Motorsports, a separate subsidiary with its own engineers. Mercedes has AMG, which started off as an independent engineering firm and was absorbed into Mercedes, but it still has engineers and builds engines and components separate from the larger company. For Tesla, I'm going to call it Ludicrous Motorsports. Remember Ludicrous Mode? Yeah, that. So from a branding perspective, I put together this positioning summary. I tend to keep things short like this. When you have a base model, that's Tesla. Performance is a trim package that you can opt for. Plaid is a step above that with a focus on straight line acceleration. Beyond that, you can order a Tesla from Ludicrous Motorsports. When you click the button online, it will send you to a separate digital experience. I like the Ludicrous name. Maybe Elon has another Spaceball reference in mind. Personally, as much as I love the IONIQ 5N, for some reason the N just doesn't jump out at you. Like, ooh, you have an N. I just don't love the name. The Hyundai IONIQ 5N has more power than the Tesla Model Y performance. The IONIQ 5N gets N-Grin Boost, another name I don't like. It will take you to a whole different level of pleasure for 10 seconds. To counter, I'm going to take the dual motor Model Y and make it a tri-motor, like the Model S Plaid. The front motor is the same as the Performance, but it gets dedicated cooling so we can push it real good. An oil cooler radiator is situated behind the front fascia. The rear motor, however, gets replaced by two motors. Combined, they will provide more power, and independently, it will allow for torque vectoring. Each drive motor will get enhanced oil cooling, like the front. Each motor will have a carbon-wrapped rotor, like in the Plaid, to make them hold together better at the intense RPM and power output. Those three motors combined, I'm going to target 700 horsepower, nominal. As an option, you can purchase an extra 100 horsepower as a software upgrade. The extra power only comes on when track mode is engaged. You can do that on the touchscreen, or as a gesture, you can give a thumbs up to the driver-facing camera and it will automatically activate track mode. Tesla doesn't like to add buttons, so I came up with that as kind of a techie alternative to putting a button on the steering wheel. For the battery, let's keep the pack size the same, but I'm going to do something a little risky. We're going to use the new 4680 cells, not the proven 2170. Why? Well, it would make Elon happy. He told everyone that the 4680 cell was going to be better in every way, cheaper, more powerful. Despite the larger size, he said that it would deal with heat just as well as the smaller battery. Early reviews of the 4680 have had many people skeptical of the details, but let's prove them wrong and put them in the highest performance version of the Model Y. The IONIQ 5N has some advantages over the current Model Y performance. We're going to address them. Even before the N was unveiled, aftermarket companies saw opportunities to improve the performance of current Teslas. The IONIQ 5N has larger brakes. We're going to just about match their rotor size, go with 15.5 inches up front, but upgrade the calipers to 6-piston standard. Hyundai made no mention of carbon ceramic brake rotors, but we will. They'll be an option from Ludicrous Motorsports. Wheels of the current Model Y Performance and the IONIQ N are similar, but I'm going to expect something different. And you may not like what I have to say. I'm not going up to 22 inches. I'm going down to forged 20 by 11 inch wheels, wearing wider 285/35 R20s. People who have created track versions of Teslas tend to go with that smaller diameter wheel and wider tire setup. The car will come with rally-inspired wheel covers, kind of like what you see on the Renault concept vehicle. They help with the aero, and that's cool, and brake ventilation, but mostly it's because they look sweet. Like other Tesla models, they can be easily removed by the owner if that's what they prefer. Suspension gets lowered, could go with high-quality coilovers. I would like to see them use shocks from Multimatic, like on the Camaro ZL1 or the Ford GT. That would give Tesla some bragging rights over Hyundai. Long term, they could start working with a company called Clear Motion on a truly innovative suspension system. The company came out from work originally done by Bose Corporation, trying to create an active suspension system that manages bumps, much like Bose speakers manage sound. The math and the science have similarities. BYD, that's Tesla's main rival in China, they have a revolutionary active suspension system in production on some of its premium vehicles. Tesla would be wise to put some R&D money into this area. I have no Photoshop skills. If I did, I would show you what I'm thinking of. Well, that's a scary statement. Let's keep this simple. We need to pull in more air in the front to the heat exchangers to the front motor and battery pack. Hyundai has a history with N cars powered by combustion engines, so for their electric vehicle, they mimic that big grille look. I think Tesla should go with something more modern. They don't have any combustion engine heritage. The Afeela by Sony Honda Mobility has these slats in the front. I pictured something like this where they would be active to allow additional air into the coolers as needed. The tires are wider, so fender flares all around. That's always a badass look. We have 2 heat exchangers at the rear for each motor, plus brakes that could use some air too. So the rear fender flares will have these air intakes. The rear diffuser to better manage airflow under the vehicle, and again, looks badass. And we need a wing. I would like to do something along the lines of the Hi-Fi Z. That's a Chinese-made crossover. You could also say it's like the rear wing from the old Ford Cosworth rally car or the Mercor XR4 Ti in the US. A modern interpretation of this would be pretty neat. On the inside, we need seats with more side bolsters. As an expensive option, you can get race seats made by, SpaceX. Have the company that is launching people into space design performance seating for this electric land rocket. The logo will have to appear somewhere on the seats too. Tesla is not Hyundai, so they will not pump fake noises into the interior or to the exterior of the vehicle. That's just not in their character. Nor will they fake shift this battery electric vehicle. The last thing I'll mention is track mode. It needs some new features. I'm sure they can do some pretty cool stuff. Currently, all Teslas, Tesla Performance, Tesla Plaid models are built the same way. Gigafactories pump them out efficiently with super low manufacturing costs. We need to avoid mucking up the operations. With Ludicrous Motorsports, they get made a little differently. I've got 2 manufacturing concepts in mind. Other OEMs have used similar means such as these. Number 1, the EVs get built the same way as the others, but then they're diverted to a Ludicrous Motorsports custom shop located near the Gigafactory. The vehicles get disassembled, enhanced with higher performance components, then get shipped off to their owners. Option 2 would use the same building located near the Gigafactory to sequence parts for Ludicrous vehicles. For example, a higher performance suspension subassembly would be put together at the custom shop, then transported up the road to the Gigafactory and sequenced to the assembly process. The ludicrous motorsports vehicle would efficiently go through the same production process, but it would get a higher performance assemblies just in time. Those are my ideas for how Tesla should respond to the Hyundai IONIQ 5 and the entire N lineup going to their battery electric vehicles. What are your ideas? The key thing is the creation of a performance division within Tesla. Maybe they even do some factory race cars, allowing amateur racers to buy EVs from the factory that aren't street legal. If you have some ideas, feel free to put them in the comments below. I'd love to get weird with it. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Check out my YouTube shorts too while you're at it. Thanks for watching.